The show will begin shortly.
Oh, yes, this is the time of the season that you want treats. You also need to figure out what to watch while eating the treats. You enter in slowly from a curtain above, and then you sit down slowly to the one you love, and you explain to them, "Hi, how you doing?" What up, no? Welcome back to Popcorn Poppin', your ultimate movie, TV, and streaming guide. I am the Popcorn Poppy. There is too much content in the world. I am drooling right now. And you can't be wasting your time. Let me waste my time for you by watching all that looks vaguely interesting in everything cinema and let you know what's poppin' and what ain't. Tonight, we will be rating this past week's new films, including Ballerina, The Phoenician Scheme, Predator, Killer of Killers, and we'll also be looking at the latest premieres of shows like the new Stick starring Owen Wilson and Mark Maron, and the second season of Tires with Shane Gillis. We'll also be going over what new projects are coming out this week, where to watch them, and give them some poppin' projections as well. But first, let's dive into the latest news from Tinseltown, shall we? We shall. That is what we shall do. All right, first up, good news, I think, anyways. If you haven't seen it yet, go to Netflix and watch One of Them Days. Now, when I first talked about seeing the trailer for this film, I thought that it didn't look very funny. And I had reported, I'm pretty sure this made number 3 or number 2 in the top 8 rated popped shows of 2025 so far. Movies, excuse me. Anyways, SZA and Keke Palmer are returning for a sequel that is in development right now for One of Them Days 2. So that's pretty exciting. I really enjoyed this movie. It is a New Day Friday that's a lot sillier. Really funny. It's not just written stuff. You can tell that they had some fun with improv too. And I'm just a lot more excited specifically for SZA because this is her first acting starring role, at least. I mean, you can say that she does some acting in her music videos, but she was fucking great in this. So a lot of fun, great pair. I'm excited to see what else that they're going to do. Again, check out the first one on Netflix right now and go to Popcorn Poppin' YouTube page to see a more in-depth review of the film. For BioPic, Snoop Dogg is having his own with Craig Brewer behind the camera. That's right. There's a new Snoop Dogg biopic in the works. He seems very young to make a biopic, but if you think about it, Snoop Dogg has been around for quite some time. In fact, he's actually, I'll tell you in a second, because I was curious how old he is, because, wow, he's 53. Yeah, he seems pretty young for us to be doing a biopic on him. But it's exciting nonetheless with all the accolades that he's accomplished and all of the albums and new versions that we've had of Snoop Dogg, like Snoop Lion, or the time that we thought he was getting sober, but he was really saying no smoke for like some sort of barbecue thing. I can't remember, but there was a big social media thing. Great entertainer, great icon, excellent personality, and an OG from the 90s. So I am excited for the film. I'm sure it'll be really well made, especially if they go the straight out of Compton route and keep people involved, but also show the shortcomings and not just try to highlight them as just a really great person. Show them being not great as well. Show the ups and downs of America's icons. So I'm pretty interested, especially more interested because Craig Brewer is directing. And if you don't remember him, he did films like Black Snake Moan and Hustle and Flow. Excellent director. He also did Dolomite Is My Name. He's a good director. So hopefully that'll be pretty good. I don't think I ever reported this because I just found out for the first time, or I'm having memory loss and I didn't realize that they announced that Star Wars is having a new film called Star Wars Starfighter, which is starring Ryan Gosling. Had no idea. And it's also going to be directed by Sean Levy, who did Night at the Museums, Real Steel, and Deadpool versus Wolverine. He's also done some other films, a lot more family films. He's a great director. He's a lot of fun. Technically, I worked for him when I was an extra in Real Steel. You don't see me, but I was in it. Just believe me, okay? Looking forward to it. I'm more interested in the aspect of what made Ryan Gosling say yes. He better not end up being related to Han Solo, but he could look like someone related to Han Solo. The film is going to be taking place 5 years after the latest in the timeline of Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. I find that interesting. A trailer just dropped for a new Dracula film based on Bram Stoker's Dracula called Luc Besson's Dracula. Luc Besson wrote a lot of great films like the Taken trilogy, but he also wrote and directed The Fifth Element, Leon the Professional, amongst others. But if you check out the trailer for this, lately I don't know if he got sort of canceled. So it's kind of hard to say if this movie's going to be cheap or just low budget. But if you don't know the story of Dracula, go check out Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. It looks exactly the same because they're both based directly on the novel. You do see some special effects with the trailer. It's just, I think it's bad timing from them to make it, especially because we just had Nosferatu. Granted, Nosferatu and Dracula aren't the same person, but they're the same person. So I think you should have waited a little while for this. But you can check it out. It's co-stars Christoph Waltz. Tom Cruise broke a Guinness World Record, and I'm sure he must have done this before. The 4-time Oscar nominee set the record for most burning parachute jumps by an individual after jumping out of a helicopter, not one, not two, but 16 times with a fuel-soaked chute set to blaze in a stunt for the final installment of the action franchise, aka Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. It was the baddest ass scene of them all. It was crazy. And this wasn't the craziest part, but it did look fucking nuts. Your jaw is dropped for this scene. The rest of the movie, your eyelids hang low because it was kind of boring. You can check out my review on that by going to the YouTube page. Still, no shade on Tom. You did great. I just didn't love the movie as much as everyone else did, but I'm proud of you nonetheless. Speaking of being proud, I like to make my ma proud. I want to make ma proud so bad that I think I want to make a sequel to Blumhouse's Ma, starring Octavia Spencer. She will be returning for a sequel, Ma. I doubt it's going to be called Ma 2, but maybe. I don't know. The reason I bring this up is me and Roxy had recently talked about this film. I never finished it, but it wasn't like I turned it on and I'm like, this is bad. I'm not going to finish it. It was on Netflix at the time, and I'm not sure where the original one is now. But I was like, yeah, maybe I'll check this out. But when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. I love Octavia Spencer, but some serious and comedic actresses or actors do horror, and it just doesn't seem to fit. Like Billy Crystal had that mini series or regular series that I think they're going for a season 2. And I just don't really want to watch it because I know him as a comedy guy. I'd rather see him in a drama, but see him in a horror, I don't know. I just can't see it. This is more believable. It's not like Monsters. It's about, like, I'm assuming a crazy mother figure to youngsters. You can rent this movie right now, or if you have Hulu Live, you can check it out, the original, but there is a sequel in the works. Also in the works is a new show starring Samuel L. Jackson. That's right. It is Nola King, which is going to be in the Tulsa King universe. If you haven't watched Tulsa King before, it's with Sylvester Stallone, written by Taylor Sheridan. It's basically a comedic gangster show with old-ass Sylvester Stallone. It's fun. It's funny, but I'm excited to see Samuel L. Jackson have his own front line, especially in television. Now, I feel like the bigger the star, the more they're going to focus on other surrounding characters. So I'm more interested to find out who else they're casting for this Nola King as opposed to just knowing that it's Samuel L. Jackson. I'm going to watch it nonetheless, but the second season of Tulsa King, I still haven't finished because I thought it was kind of meh, but now I will be jumping back in specifically for Samuel L. Jackson's little ring-a-ding-ding-do in, when they introduce him, I mean. And finally in news, there is a Mass Effect TV show in the works. I never played the game, but they're doing a TV show, at least Prime Video is. And it's going to be on Amazon Prime, and they're working with Doug Zhang, who is famous for The Chief of War, which I had never heard of, but he's the showrunner. And they've been writing the project for almost a year, so that's interesting. So if you like Mass Effect, that's something for you to check out. All right, let's look at the new seasons of shows that just dropped, like Stick, starring Owen Wilson and Mark Maron and Judy Greer, about an over-the-hill ex-golfer fired from his job, sees hope in coaching a troubled teen protege after his wife leaves him, staking his future on the youth's success. Poppin' or not, it is poppin'. The pros are it's very easygoing, very fun to watch, and if you like Owen Wilson, you'll be a fan of the show. Mark Maron is a perfect, fun curmudgeon to accompany Wilson's optimistic attitude. Underrated Judy Greer is a happy addition. And Wilson's likability just makes it very easy. It was starting off as a background show for me while I was doing chores. Eventually, I was like, yeah, all right, I'll check it out. The only con that I would say is that it's nothing like too special. And by too special, I mean, so far I haven't seen anything that really wowed me. I just thought this is an easy show to watch. It does remind me a little of Ted Lasso and Shrinking, meaning that it is not too much. It's just easy. And it does seem lighthearted enough to not take itself too seriously. So I'll continue watching it, and you can watch the first 3 episodes right now on Apple TV Plus. New episodes dropping on Wednesdays. Another easygoing show that is definitely more mature than Stick is Tires, about a man who inherits his father's auto repair chain and tries to turn it around despite torture from his cousin and now employee Shane, played by Shane Gillis. I wasn't a fan of the first season. I told you guys it was not popping, and I had finished the season in preparation for this new season because it's got more guest stars. And I do like Shane Gillis, so let's give it another shot. And everyone I talk to loves this show, the first season anyway. Haven't talked to anyone that's watched the second season yet, except for this guy right here. I did. And guess what? First season, not popping. Second season, popping. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. You guys upped the ante. You got a bigger budget, which definitely shows. You got not like huge guest stars like Brad Pitt, but you got John Lovitz in the first episode, which is definitely more my language. You got Joe DeRussa in the second episode. He's also a writer for the series. And I still haven't seen Big J. Okerson join the series, but he will, and it will probably be fun. Besides the guest stars, the writing is funnier, and the situations are a little more heavy, as in Shane is starting to see come to terms with him not really going for gold in terms of making it further in life. And everything seems to be going well for them, and they're just trying to make the store better and better. It's not just one note like the first season was. The first season was mostly just them trying to make a profit. Now it's about them trying to get a loan to make their successful business even more successful. So I dig it. I like the season a lot. I haven't finished it yet, but you can finish it right now by turning on Netflix and watching the first season and the second season, Tires. And finally, BMF. All right, guys, someone give me a Stars prescription. You have to sign me a prescription for Stars or give me a subscription to Stars so I can return to BMF, because the new season is out right now. At least it started with new episodes on Stars Friday. And it is about the Detroit brothers, Demetrius and Terry Flenory. I always think I'm pronouncing it wrong. That's why I said Demetrius and Terry Flenory, who become powerful figures in a multi-state drug and money laundering organization. Every time I see a trailer for this new season, I get angry at myself that I'm not watching the show right now. So do me a favor, give me your Stars subscription, or have enough people poke and prod me to get my own Stars subscription, like an adult. I just already have so many subscriptions. And I really want the next subscription to be a Criterion Collection subscription instead of a Stars subscription. Let's go over to the chat right quick. Right. Whoa, a lot of people have been talking. My bad, guys. Novocaine says, ooh-wee, some nice music you got there. Fire emoji and smiley face. That's right. If you like my music, check out Novocaine By the way, guess what? Novocaine has a new album called Higher Than I Thought, which is out on Apple Music, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your music. It is a great album, and I got a dope hoodie. I'm not going to run and find it, but it's not mine. It's mine and Roxy's. Seriously, really good merch. Go to canestationstore.com. Sincerely, really cool merch. And check out his music. Excellent. If you like rap and you like white people, you'll like him. But it's not just about him being white. He makes good music. Seriously, Don't Meet Your Heroes, one of my favorite songs. Ooh, who's playing Snoop? No word on who's playing Snoop Dogg in the new biopic yet. When I find out, I will let you guys know ASAP. But like I said, Craig Brewer is directing. He did Hustle and Flow, Dolomite Is My Name, and Black Snake Moan. Underrated film. If you haven't listened to the album Bush by Snoop, all right, I love Bush, so maybe I'll love Bush by Snoop. I really hadn't heard that. I did listen to his most recent album, and I don't think that that's it, but I'll be sure to check that out. Ryan Gosling, overrated. I would agree, except watch The Nice Guy. Watch Lars and the Real Girl, and then watch The Nice Guys. He is a fantastic actor. And honestly, he's fucking great in Barbie. I think Barbie is a tad overrated, but I do think it deserves its accolades anyways. I think it was a very well-made film, and it was a lot of fun. I just thought the end, like, whatever. We're not talking about Barbie. Ryan Gosling in the film was really, really good. I think someone who can balance comedy and drama very well is a good actor. But sincerely, check out Lars and the Real Girl and Nice Guys. Nice Guys is better. And also, what was one other film? He's great in Drive, but he used to be a staring hard actor. Now he's moving a little more to the comedic realm, but check out Nice Guys and Lars and the Real Girl. Are you in Real Steel credits? No, I'm not. I just wanted to. Did I meet Hugh Jackman? I did not. It was funny because I was an extra on Sean Levy's Real Steel with Hugh Jackman, and I was only an extra for a day. And there was a shit ton of extras, and we were so tired. But Sean Levy, again, the director, he's full of energy, full of excitement. He also did Free Guy, not only Deadpool and Wolverine and Night in the Museums. So he's full of energy the entire day, and he gets you hype. Really, really cool director to work with, even though I never really talked to him because you're in the stands. And the reason you can't see me is because if you've seen the film Real Steel with Hugh Jackman, they basically green screen a bunch of the far away crowds. So I'm probably in it times a million, but you can't really see me. Anyways, the whole time that they're filming the guy and who we think is Hugh Jackman and the child, we're so far away, we can't tell. But I told my friend Wyatt, I'm like, I don't think that's Hugh Jackman. And it ended up being a stand-in. And then Hugh Jackman eventually came out to actually do the lines and stuff. It was crazy how much work went into just yelling and screaming and them doing one or two scenes, but it was a lot of fun. And towards the end of the shoot, Hugh Jackman went in the ring and he goes, "Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today?" And we all got really hyped, for real, even though we're so goddamn tired. The director, Sean Levy, it's his birthday, so everyone's going to sing happy birthday. How's that for him? Okay, happy birthday. So yeah, it was fun. So Hugh Jackman was cool. He did! Exclamation point. That's dope as fuck to Terror Dome. Also, if you want to check out Mama, that'd be a great name for the Ma sequel, Mama. Yeah, okay, nice. If you want to check out some UFC or fighting or wrestling news, check out the Terror Dome on TikTok with long form entertainment coming soon. Well, man, Jack, says Novocaine. Novocaine, I'm all over Stick. Yeah, you are, buddy. Yeah, you are. Get all over Owen Wilson's Stick on Apple TV Plus. Terror Dome, I definitely want to check out Stick. Yeah, check it out. It's fun. Like I said, it's very easy. Very easy. So far, it hasn't blown me away, but I haven't watched the second and third season yet. Shit's going to make me want to golf every time I watch. It will. And every time you watch the young kid swing, it's going to make you think of Happy Gilmore. Talk to us, Poppy. Novocaine. I was going to say Poppy, but I changed it to Novocaine. I'm going to have to watch Stick. It looks good. Yeah, it's still good. Just lower your expectations a little bit. It's just not hilarious. It's just easy.
Second season's already out. Yes, for Tires. It came out last week. Check out the second season. Like I said, it's much better. Lovitz is fucking hilarious in the first episode of Tires. Bill Burr, next season of Tires. That would be sick. I don't know who else is going to be in this season besides Big J Okerson. 50 Cent has not canceled BMF. I think that show is going to go on for another season or two. They haven't announced that BMF is their last season. Terror Dome will give something a chance. And Nova Kane lied about something. All right. It's going to be a while since I hit back the chat, but thank you. Keep talking to me and I'll answer all your questions and I'll do all the things. Not all the things. For the Spotlight films, I only saw 2, but let's go over everything that came out. For instance, Phoenician Scheme, Wes Anderson's Phoenician Scheme. If you like Wes Anderson, you will probably enjoy this film. It's about a wealthy businessman, Zaza Korda, who appoints his only daughter, a nun, as sole heir to his estate. As Korda embarks on a new enterprise, they soon become the target of scheming tycoons, foreign terrorists, and determined assassins. Poppin' or not? Well, the pros are, I hadn't enjoyed Wes Anderson's latest films as much as I used to, but this is the first one that I enjoyed since Grand Budapest Hotel. So it is poppin'. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Sure, I did like Wes Anderson's Netflix short films that are based on Roald Dahl's stories that you can watch on Netflix right now. They're very strange, but they're cool. They're offbeat, just like Wes Anderson films. But I really miss the Wes Anderson days of Fantastic Mr. Fox, Life Aquatic with Steve Suzu, and Darjeeling Limited. Those are like my favorite films of his. If you don't know, you probably know Grand Budapest Hotel and Royal Tenenbaums. But his last couple films I didn't love too much, and that were French Dispatch and Asteroid City. This is better than that. I'd say it's like in the middle of my favorites when it comes to his filmography. There's another film of his that involves strange and political deadpan dialogue that makes me a bit lost in the nitty-gritty of the plot, but Benicio, the actress that plays the nun, and Michael Cera's acting make it all worthwhile. I didn't know Michael Cera was in the film, let alone him being like the third lead in the film, but he plays kind of sort of 2 characters, and it's very reminiscent of Youth and Revolt. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. It's one of my favorite Michael Cera movies. Very underrated. So yeah, I love Michael Cera in this. I love Benicio in this, and the actress that plays the nun. I love Wes Anderson's theme usage of estranged families reuniting together, and this one's no exception. There's one reason Darjeeling Limited and Life Aquatic are my favorites, and Tenenbaums was an Oscar winner. It's because he knows how to hit estranged family connections very well, even in a genre that is sort of unrealistic to reality. I give this one a medium popcorn with butter, even though I enjoyed Ballerina a bit more. I probably just gave away what I'm going to rate Ballerina, but maybe it's not popping. Maybe I gave it a large popcorn, even though I hated it. We'll see. So if you haven't checked out Wes Anderson's films before, I don't recommend starting with this one. Like I said, Roxy and I checked out this in theaters, which doesn't have subtitles, and Benicio's accent is pretty heavy, but it's not only his heavy accent, it's everyone, the way that they talk. The way that anyone talks in Wes Anderson films makes it hard to realize what they're talking about, especially with the weird shit that they are talking about. So I would recommend, you don't have to see this in theaters, but it is a fun theater see. It's just check out his other stuff first so you can get acclimated to Wes Anderson works. The easiest one is probably Fantastic Mr. Fox. Then go into Royal Tenenbaums. Then check out my favorites, Darjeeling Limited and Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. But if you want to be the judge of yourself, you can check this out in theaters right now. Also in theaters right now is Dogma, which is Kevin Smith's crazy angel tale. I haven't gone to the theater. I'm supposed to be taking my mom somewhat soon. But basically, Kevin Smith lost the rights to his film a long time ago, so they were re-releasing it in theaters as a way for him to make some more money because his films have not been great lately. I just hope that he doesn't do what he says he's going to do, and that is make sequels and returning characters in future films. Just make more dope films in the View Askew universe without ruining the originals. Not to say that he's ruined Jay and Silent Bob, but I don't know. So check this out in theaters right now. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite Kevin Smith movies. And it might honestly end up being like one of my favorite all-time comedies. It's just fun. Dangerous Animals is also in theaters right now, which is about a shark-obsessed serial killer who holds Zephyr, a rebellious surfer, captive on his boat. Racing against time, she must figure out a way to escape before he carries out a real ritualistic feeding to the sharks below. Oh, I didn't know it was ritualistic. I read this plot last week, too. The reason I'm bringing this up right now is because I'm going to take Roxy to go see this week. It looks fun, and it does feature this actor that I always forget the name of, but hopefully it's good. I'll let you know next week. Also in theaters is the comedy I Don't Understand You with Nick Kroll and Andrew Rannells about an American couple planning to face a relationship challenge during chaotic Italian vacation. Stranded without transport or language skills, their fears and issues intensify. This is in theaters right now. Also is The Ritual, which is basically a horror film with Al Pacino and Dan Stevens, which is based on the most famous exorcism ever recorded, which in turn inspired the horror classic The Exorcist. I'm kind of interested in this, but I'll be waiting for streaming. And now we get into streaming. Now, streaming right now is Taraji P. Henson in Tyler Perry's Straw, aka Last Straw, I'd say. It's about a single mother who navigates a series of unfortunate events leading her down an unforeseen path where she becomes embroiled in a situation she never envisioned, finding herself at the center of suspicion in an indifferent world. This has Taraji P. Henson and Teyona Taylor. Am I saying that right? I can't remember her last name. Poppin' or not. So I'm going to be frank with you guys. I started this morning. The only reason I didn't finish it later on is because I was prepping the rest of the show. I was going to have it on in the background, but it's really difficult to have this movie as a background movie. And at first, I ain't going to front. I kind of wanted to shut it off until something specific happened. Why would you want to shut this beautiful piece of cinema off, Tony? It's because, and I mean this as a compliment, even though I want to say it as an insult, but I can't insult Tyler Perry. He's an extremely successful filmmaker that has nothing but my respect, even if I don't vibe with most of his films. And you want to make films interesting, right? But this is one of the most melodramatic films I've ever watched, including Mea Culpa. And that one film with Megan Good, I can't remember. It came out recently. If you remember, let me know in the chat. It's so ridiculous, the stuff that she goes through. Specifically, she like accidentally cuts off a cop. Maybe she doesn't even cut him off. Maybe she just goes a little slow. And he chases her down, spins her out, and like gets out of the car and goes, "Yeah, you didn't know I was a cop, did you?" And he takes out his gun and he's like, "I will find a legal reason to blow your fucking brains out." It's like, whoa, dude, relax. It's full of situations like this. Everyone she comes across in this hellish day is a complete non-human being, except for one friend at a grocery store and kind of sort of the bank manager played by Sherry Shepherd. And I was gonna be like, I'm gonna shut this movie up and I'm gonna wait until the bank happens, which is where it gets more John Q. She's in a bank because she's having one of the worst days of her life, and she's in the bank to really help out her kid. Also, there's a scene where her kid is taken away, and everything about that scene is so stupid. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say that. She shows up and she goes, "What?" And you hear, "Mommy!" And she's being taken at that moment. And I'm like, what? That's interesting timing. I get it. It's a movie, but hear me out. And then they say, "Yeah, we're taking your daughter away." She says she's hungry all the time. But I have my check. I have my check. It's just, everything's cranked to 11. It is definitely a film that you may notice online will teach you to get direct deposit. Don't do paper checks, because the paper checks are really the reason she has the worst day of her life. If she had direct deposit, things would go a little easier for her. Her landlord's an asshole. Sinbad's in it. Really small role, but he's not an asshole. And Teyona Taylor isn't an asshole either. So I would say check it out specifically for Taraji. I mean, you can't go wrong with Taraji. And the film is entertaining. It's just so fucking melodramatic. It's ridiculous. But I didn't finish it yet, so I can't tell you if it's popping or not. She does snap, and we get a reminiscent feel of films like Changing Lanes, John Q, and Falling Down with Michael Douglas. That's like the original, like, I'm having a bad fucking day, so I will fuck up anyone that crosses my path type films. So check out those films before you check out this, or after, whatever you want. But if you want to check out Tyler Perry's Straw, it's on Netflix right now. I will finish it, and I'll let you know if it like really turns around. The action that she does that involves money and a gun and her boss, I was very surprised. But the acting of Taraji ever since that scene is very, very well made. Now, one of the new films that I checked out, and I wish more of you guys were Predator fans, because I don't know anyone that's seen Prey, which is crazy because Prey is such a great Predator film. But if you haven't seen Predator Killer of Killers, it's the animated film that is about a Viking raider, a ninja in feudal Japan, and a World War II pilot encounter a fierce intergalactic hunter. Now, the last film, Prey, was directed by Dan Trachtenberg. That film connected Predator 2, and Dan Trachtenberg is coming out with Badlands later on this year, which is another Predator film that is from the perspective of a predator instead of humans. If you're a Predator fan and you loved Prey, you need to watch this movie right now. Shut this off. Just watch me later. I loved this movie. It's fun overall. It's basically 3 separate stories, all combining in one with an excellent end credit scene. That's so I'm so excited for Badlands. I can't talk about it too much without giving anything away, but if you're a fan of Predator, check it out. It's fun. It's dope. The animation style, I'm not the hugest fan of because it's a bit choppy, but it's still badass enough for you to check out. And it's got some scary ass predators in it. Even Jared Fogle shows up. It's cray. And before we get into Ballerina, let's check out the chat real quick. It's all in one day. Yes, I believe so. Like I said, I hadn't finished Straw yet, but it is a one-day movie, at least the beginning up to the point I see. Because basically her day goes bad, and then it all ends up being in a bank, at least so far from what I've seen. And I love one-day movies. So if you like one-day movies, maybe you'll like it too. This one too. It's very dramatic, very dramatic. If you're used to Tyler Perry, it's not going to faze you at all, though. All right, our spotlight film of the week is Ballerina from the world of John Wick. Ballerina is an American action thriller film and the 5th film in the John Wick franchise, serving as a spin-off set between the events of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum and John Wick Chapter 4, aka maybe the best action film of all time. This one is directed by Len Wiseman, who did The Underworlds, Live Free and Die Hard, and Total Recall. So, I was a little nervous when the film started. I was a little nervous when the film first started. I was like, I don't know how special this is going to be. I don't know if this action scenes are going to be what I want them to be, for several reasons that we're going to get into in a second. But first, let's get Bucky in here. Bucky, can you do me a favor? I need you to rate this film, and I need you to be honest when you do. Is Ballerina poppin', or is it not? Oh, it is poppin', shouty. Thank you, Bucky. It is poppin'. Poppin', poppin', poppin'. Thank God. So, at first, the film was lackluster with plots we've seen before, not only in other John Wick films, but it had too much seriousness in Ana de Armas's Eve and her upbringing. Her father's life was taken by a disliked group of the Assassin Corporation that we know from the John Wick universe and the Continental universe. Their methods are illegal even by the high table standards. So she grows up in the Russian ballerina program that we were introduced in Parabellum, and she's trained how protection is more important than killing, even though they do a time jump where she is now killing more peeps than protecting. I don't recall how long the time jump actually is, but I believe it's within a couple months to a couple years. This is where her badassery begins and the film picks up the pace. Action-wise, the film started off a little uninteresting, definitely a bit uneven, and not very comedic. The thing about the John Wick franchise is they are ridiculous storylines that just build up crazier and crazier, and they kind of like make fun of themselves a little bit. The miniseries, The Continental, has comedy in it, but they don't really make fun of themselves enough. This is the most serious of the John Wick films, definitely at first, but then things kind of pick up. When it comes to the main plot, it stays serious, but when it comes to the action, that's where they go, oh yeah, this is a comedic action film. I wouldn't call this film a comedic action film, but there are action scenes that make you laugh out loud because of how violent and fucking crazy they are. I read that the film was pushed a year of release because they brought Chad Stahelski, I'm probably mispronouncing that. That is the director and real-life stunt performer that worked on and directed John Wick 1, 2, 3, and 4. They brought him on board to direct reshoots of this film, including more action scenes. That is very prevalent. That is extremely prevalent because the beginning of this movie is very, very generic. And then right when that time jump happens, everything is cranked up very well, I might add. It's very well done for the last second and third acts of the film. It was sort of the opposite of Fantastic Four by Josh Trank, that had Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, and another guy. Jamie Bell. Remember that film? Well, Josh Trank, the director, revealed to the public that he was kicked off of the film and sort of removed directly before the second act of the film begins. Even the first act of Fantastic Four wasn't very great, but it does get dramatically messier when that second act begins. And it happens at a time jump. This movie, in this case, is where the film features dope shit. And their ultimate ingredient, her novice education and ass kickery. Let me explain with one other example. You saw Matt Reeves's The Batman starring Robert Pattinson. The audience sees our protagonist, Batman, the Batman that is, when yes, he's been established and Gotham City knows who he is. And yes, he's a badass, but he's starting out so far in the beginning. He's starting out so much that he crashes into a bus when he first jumps out and flies off of the building. Motherfucker can barely fly, but we still love it so much because we're watching an imperfect badass learn how to become the Gotham Knight that we all love. The Dark Knight that we all love. When we are introduced to John Wick, watching the John Wick movies, he is an established boogeyman that you call to kill the boogeyman himself. Whereas Eve is newer and gets her ass kicked a lot. John Wick, we barely see his ass get kicked. And I had mentioned last week that one thing I'll be judging on this film are fight scenes with not just the big bad bosses that she's going to come across, like the second goon or the main villain, but regular goons. Because if there's one thing about the John Wick films, when he's fighting, like, people will run out and like, or he has a gun, he's pointing it in this direction, and the guys go, and it's like, okay, this looks cool, but these people are like dumb pawns. What's going on? But the films progress and they get more difficult because they notice. Ballerina, everyone that she fights is difficult for her because she's more of a novice badass. I enjoyed that they don't treat Ana de Armas nicely because she's a woman. If anything, she's more badass than John because she actually kicks ass whilst getting her ass kicked. Like, there's a lot of times you're like, oh, fuck, that looked like it hurt. And that's like every 5 seconds. The main plot is the film's biggest weakness, but Ana and the action make this ride quite enjoyable. The most badass scenes included grenades and flamethrowers. Seriously, really cool flamethrower scene. Probably the best flamethrower scene I've ever seen. And you know what? I'll even double down with the best grenade scene I've ever seen. I'm excited to see how much more creative the John Wick universe will be from here on out. And I give the film a medium with butter, but like a lot of butter. I kind of want to give it a large. It's somewhere between a large with no butter and a medium with butter. Go check out the film. You don't need to see it in theaters. It is an action movie, so theaters would be dope. But I wasn't like, wow, I'm so glad I'm in a movie theater. You can really wait for streaming. There's not like a huge amount of movies that are coming out next week, which we'll get to in a second. But be the judge for yourself. Either go see it in theaters or wait for it in streaming. Now, while we're on the subject of revenge films, what are other revenge films that are like Ballerina or John Wick that you can go see? In fact, what are the best revenge films that you can watch, and where can you watch them? That is why we're going to rank the top 10 best revenge films ever. At least top 10 that I love. The Popcorn Poppy top 10 revenge films, starting at number 10. And now we're not doing one-man army revenge films, mind you. We're doing revenge plot films. Some of these are going to be very different from the crazy action fun that we usually come across. And some of them will be very similar to the John Wick franchise. You might even see John Wick in here. But some of them are a little different, like Blue Ruin, a film that many people have not seen, I would say. It is a very slow burn about an ominous piece of news that sends a drifter played by Macon Blair back to his hometown to exact brutal and inept revenge for the deaths of his parents. This is directed by Jeremy Saulnier, who did most recently Netflix's Rebel Ridge and Green Room, one of my favorite movies. Again, this is a very slow burn, but it's an independent film that does have some really cool action scenes, but you're not going to get a quarter amount of action scenes that you do with John Wick's. I don't remember the film too well, but I wanted to include it in the list to highlight how great revenge films can be and how greatly they can be executed with an independent budget. So you can check it out for yourself on Tubi. Again, it is very slow burn, but one of my favorite revenge films. If you want to see something with a little more dialogue that has more of a suspenseful twist, but not really action, check out Hard Candy with Ellen Page and Patrick Wilson. Haley's a smart, charming teenage girl. Jeff's a handsome, smooth fashion photographer. An internet chat, a coffee shop meetup, an impromptu fashion shoot back at Jeff's place. Jeff thinks it's his lucky night. He's in for a surprise. I can't really tell you what the movie's about because it's full of twists and turns, but this is one of my favorite posters. It is basically, I'll highlight words. Haley's a smart, charming teenage girl. Jeff's a handsome, smooth fashion photographer. An internet chat. Jeff's place. Jeff thinks it's his lucky night. Teenage girl. Fashion photographer. Ellen Page. Patrick Wilson. Age difference. He's in for a surprise. Check out the movie. I think it's very, very well made. It's like a play, and it isn't an action, but it's more suspense, more fast-paced than Blue Ruin, even though it only has 2 actors in the entire film, Ellen Page and Patrick Wilson. Oh, and a scene with Sandra Oh. But I don't think I knew about either of the actors when I first watched this film, but I was very surprised I didn't because of how well the acting was. And look at them now. You can check this out on Xumo Play. That's Xumo. I think it's a free app. But this was directed by David Slade, who did episodes of Black Mirror, American Gods, Hannibal, Breaking Bad, and also the film 30 Days of Night. It is not an action film, but it's an excellent revenge film. It's very underrated. Check it out. Xumo Play. Sicario is the 8th best revenge film of this list. If you haven't seen it before, it's with Benicio del Toro from Emily Blunt's perspective, co-starring Josh Brolin, Daniel Kaluuya, and John Barenthal, about an idealistic FBI agent who's enlisted by a government task force to aid in the escalating war against drugs at the border area between the U.S. and Mexico. Way more action-y than the previously mentioned films, but still sort of a slow burn that's interrupted with bouts of surprising action. And it's also written by Taylor Sheridan, who wrote the Yellowstone universe, Tulsa King, and Lioness. It's also directed by one of the greatest directors of our time, Denis Villeneuve, who did Blade Runner 2049, The Dunes, Arrival, and Prisoners. You can check out both films on Netflix right now, but the one that I'm saying is the best revenge film is Sicario, the first one. You're going to get a little more action in the second one, and it took me a few years to watch the second one because I was like, it's no way it's going to be as good as the first. But if you like the first film, check out the second. You won't get Emily Blunt, but you will get a solid sequel that definitely makes you wish that they make a third one. And apparently everyone's on board, including Emily Blunt, but you meet new characters that you want all to meet in a third film. Hopefully it does happen. The seventh best revenge film is not one film, but quite a few. And that is the John Wicks, of course. The whole saga is full of fun with great action and some of the best I've ever seen. It really leans into the fun and ridiculousness in both action and story, and I think Ballerina and the Continental storylines took themselves a bit too seriously compared to the main films of John Wick. But I must note that Chapter 4 may be my favorite action film of all time behind the Raid films. Nothing gets better in a revenge story than "they killed my dog." And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm back. I fucked up that line. Everyone's been asking me if I'm back. And yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. You can check out the entire series on Peacock right now, besides Ballerina, which is in theaters right now. And again, Chapter 4 is my favorite film. Django Unchained, which is, of course, about, with the help of German bounty hunter, played by Christoph Waltz, a freed slave, played by Jamie Foxx, sets out to rescue his wife from a brutal plantation owner in Mississippi, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and the wife is played by Kerry Washington, and he also got Samuel L. Jackson playing a real bastard. This is fun from front to back. It's a great Tarantino film, filled with great dialogue and action. And Django is certainly a badass. The Tupac scene is one of my favorite scenes of all time. You can rent this film for a couple bucks if you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it yet, have you been living under a rock? Because that's fucking crazy. This movie's great. It's dope. If you love Tarantino, you'll love the film. Now, we're in a little more action-y area. We're going to take a little bit of a step back for our fifth film, which does have some suspenseful scenes, but it's definitely more of an artsy film, and that is Memento. Memento is about a former insurance investigator who now suffers from anterograde amnesia. I've never seen that word before. He suffers from amnesia and uses notes and tattoos to hunt down his wife's murderer. It's played by Guy Pearce, who also stars Carrie-Anne Moss and Joe Pantoliano. Christopher Nolan. It's one of his best films. If you don't know Christopher Nolan, you've also been living under a rock. He did Interstellar. He did The Dark Knights. He did The Prestige. And he did Inception. Excellent mindfuck film that I recommend to everyone. It keeps you on your toes and has an excellent rewatch sustainability because you notice and understand more things because it's a mind-fucking film. Just know that the black and white scenes happen forward and the main colorized scenes are backward, meaning the film is basically backwards, leading to a culmination of him finding his wife's killer and proving that obsession for revenge transcends memory. So well made. Probably the best Christopher Nolan movie that you'll ever watch, even though most people probably say Dark Knight or Inception. You can be the judge yourself by checking it out on Tubi, Pluto, or Peacock. Going to number 4, a little more action, definitely more epic, and definitely a bigger cast, is Gangs of New York, where in 1862, Amsterdam Valen, I don't know what that word is, returns to the, his name's Valen. Valen? I'm trying to think of Daniel Day-Lewis saying it. You're back in Amsterdam, Valen. Oh no, his name's Amsterdam, right. It's been a while since I watched the movie. Amsterdam returns to the 5 Points area of New York City, seeking revenge against Bill the Butcher, his father's killer. Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Cameron Diaz stars in this awesome Martin Scorsese epic that's way bigger in scope compared to the rest of the films that I mentioned, with probably the best acting from anywhere else on this list, and probably the most fulfilling film of the list as well. It's extremely long, but it is amazing. I've probably seen this movie so many more times than any other movie on this list. If you love Scorsese and you hadn't watched this film, shut me off. if you do love Scorsese and you have seen it, you probably agree that this is one of his best films. Super, super dope. Daniel Day-Lewis is one of my favorite actors in it. I feel like I'm doing Robert De Niro. I promise I did a decent Daniel Day-Lewis, and I kind of want to be Billy the Butcher for Halloween now. Anyways, let's get back into a little more contemporary plotting with a little bit more action and a tiny bit more fun with Mel Gibson in Payback. After a successful heist, Porter is left for dead. Once he recovers, he seeks vengeance, and he wants his share of the money. Mel Gibson, Maria Bello, and awesome Lucy Liu in the one film that's most up my alley. That film noir-y gruff voice and guns with lots of dark comedy fun. Like Ballerina, this film went through lots of reshoots with a different director, and in my opinion, I prefer the theatrical cut of this one as opposed to the directorial cut called Payback Straight Up. So you may come across Payback Straight Up, which is the original version of the film. If you're going to watch that, wait till you watch the regular version because it's much more fun and just better. So watch this one instead. I love this movie. It's stupid fun. I love it. Hubba, hubba, hubba. If you know, you know. Anyways, you can check this one out on Tubi, Pluto, Plex, Peacock, or Prime. Number 2 is technically one film, but you can only see it in 2 parts. Volume 1 and 2, Kill Bill. The bride must kill her ex-boss and lover, Bill, who betrayed her at her wedding rehearsal, shot her in the head, and took away her new... I'm not gonna say that last part. That shouldn't be in this plot synopsis because that's a surprise, so I'm not going to say it. But first, she must make the other 4 members of the Deadly Viper assassin squad suffer. Wow, my lisp really showed up there. If you haven't seen the Kill Bills, go watch the Kill Bills. They're fucking striking as hell. Starring Uma Thurman, Lucy Liu, Vivica A. Fox, Michael Madsen, Daryl Hannah, and David Carradine. I'm including both Volume 1 and 2 as the second best revenge films. For one, they are one movie. At the time, I preferred the second volume over the first, but looking back now, I don't know how I can love something more than the first movie. They're both striking, badass, stylistic, violent, fun, witty, all that jazz. Apparently, there is a Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair cut of the film. This was Tarantino's original cut and intention to release in theaters. It would have been 4 hours long and has only been shown at select screenings. There are fan versions online, but The Whole Bloody Affair is unavailable to own. If I hear about one screening of this, I'm definitely going to check it out. For Volume 1 and 2, you can go to YouTube Premium or rent it. If you don't own it, that's crazy because these movies are fantastic. Little story. The first time I did mushrooms, I was having a very bad trip. And my friend Joe put on Kill Bill 1 and it calmed me down. So if you need to calm down, turn on Kill Bill Volume 1, specifically the Crazy 88 scene. What is the best revenge film of all time then? I'll give you a hint. I've mentioned it so much on Popcorn Poppin', and I guarantee only 2% of you have ever watched it. But in my opinion, the best revenge film of all time is Chan-wook Park's Old Boy. After being kidnapped and imprisoned for 15 years, Odaisu is released, only to find that he must track down his captor in 5 days. Chan-wook Park did The Handmaiden, Decision to Leave, Thirst, one of the best vampire movies of all time, if not the best vampire film, and the whole Vengeance trilogy, which includes Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, and Lady Vengeance. None of them are connected in plot, only by theme. This is one of the craziest films you'll ever see if you can finish it. It's got drama, it's got comedy, it's got some of the best and most prolific action ever. Because it actually started that whole hallway fight tracking shot thing. A lot of people I recommend this movie to become too distracted or too disconnected to get more than 20 minutes in. I think it's because it's not American made, but it is absolutely worth the ride. One of the best endings ever. And popularized hallway action tracking shots that you see so often in action cinema. Check this out on Paramount Plus. and check out Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance on Tubi. But watch this first just to see if you'll like the rest. If there's any I missed, make sure you comment and let me know if I'm wrong about any of these. But I am pretty sure that I'm right all the time, of course. Now, before we get into what is coming out next week, let's see some comments. This is a pretty solid list. Big Fat Liar and Spawn and Kill Bill, my favorite revenge flicks. Big Fat Liar, you're 1,000% right. I should have had that in this. Spawn is stylistic, but and it's Spawn. I do love Spawn, but I do like these other films more. Check them out and let me know if you disagree. Spawn is pretty badass, though. Oh, fuck yeah, Django. Horrible Bosses and technically Hot Rod. Hot Rod. That's interesting. Hot Rod is kind of a revenge. No, it isn't. It's just him trying to prove himself to his dad. Yeah, I don't count that as a revenge film. Horrible Bosses is more of a... Horrible Bosses is more of like a killing film. Like, yo, we need to kill our bosses. It's I don't think murder is always revenge. And in this case, I don't think it is, because they're just trying to get them out of their lives. Most of these films that I put on here were like, you killed my dad and I don't know you and you're not part of my life, but I'm going to go out of my way to kill you. Horrible Bosses is really them being like, yo, we got to get rid of these guys because they're making our lives a living hell. Still need to finish Old Boy. Yes, you do, Robin. Yes, you do. I'll sit there with you. I'll hold your hand. I'll kiss your cheek. And I'll make you forget that the movie's on. But I'll also make sure you remember the movie's on. And finally, Mean Girls is a good revenge movie. I would say yes. I would say overall it is a revenge movie. Yeah, I'll agree with that. And honestly, it probably would have made it in the top 10. I would say it's better than Blue Ruin. It's definitely more fun than Blue Ruin. Yeah. I would say the beginning of the film doesn't really start off as a revenge. It's mostly about her trying to be like, trying to just fit into school. And then she gets embroiled into like this revenge type thing. So I would still count it. I just didn't think about it as a revenge film because I thought about it as a new kid at a crazy school type thing. Thank you, Edna, for making it. All right. Before we check out what else... Law-Abiding Citizen, I did consider, but to be honest, I didn't add it because I didn't love that movie as much as everyone else did. It was batshit crazy. It is an excellent revenge film. Again, I just preferred the other ones, and I also like having films that I know not everyone has seen. Everyone saw Law-Abiding Citizen. Most people have seen the Kill Bills, don't get me wrong, but I decided not to add Law-Abiding Citizen because I know everyone's going to have Law-Abiding Citizen. But I do regret not having Mean Girls and Big Fat Liar on there. Before we check out what's coming out this week, I just want to... I need to show you guys a little something. Do you mind? Okay, thank you.
There you are. We were worried sick.
Do you know how long we were looking for you?
Every time you do this, you're gone longer and longer.
You're gone so much, we almost felt like giving up.
Listen, we love you, but if you keep this up...
If you go missing one more time, mister, I'll literally put you on a leash. Is that what
baby,
you want?
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Shut up. Is that what you want?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
All right, then.
Listen, if you could just stay put where you are at all times, everything will be okay, all right? Okay. All right, good. I trust him.
I don't know.
Baby, let's just take a deep breath. Feel better?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now I think... Oh, damn it, he's gone again!
Now we won't be able to watch Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh, man. That... I'm sad. This is sad to me. I'm sad.
Take it off.
Okay.
Parents, always tether your remotes. That way they don't get lost in the couch and you don't miss out on Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is a public service announcement.
Just a little public service announcement, just so you guys are aware. This week, we got How to Train Your Dragon. As an ancient threat endangers both Vikings and dragons alike on the Isle of Berk, the friendship between Hiccup, an inventive Viking, and Toothless, a Night Fury dragon, becomes the key to both species forging a new future together. This is in theaters Thursday. I don't want to go see it. I just don't. I think this movie would be perfect for theaters, especially after rewatching the original and seeing the trailer for this. It looks really fucking close to the original film. I wasn't the biggest fan. No, I wasn't. I never watched the original until a few months ago. And when I watched it, I was like, yo, these flying scenes are sick. I'm excited for the live action because I think these flying scenes are going to be really, 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 really dope in theaters. So maybe I'll go watch it. I do recommend others to go watch it. I think when it comes to live action adaptations, it's all about does it do the original justice, and could it stand out on its own well enough to decipher between the two? I think this movie will be popping in that aspect, and mostly it's just from watching the trailer. Hopefully I'm right. You can check it out in theaters. Life of Chuck, which is about a life-affirming, genre-bending story about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz, starring Tom Hiddleston, directed by Mike Flanagan, based on a story by Stephen King. But Mike Flanagan did Gerald's Game, Haunting of Hill House, The Fall of the House of Usher, Hush, which is an excellent film. He's a great director, and he's never done not horror before. He also did the Midnight Mass miniseries on Netflix. Check that out, too. Excellent director. I would say an excellent Stephen King adapter as well. I mean, that's how he really got famous. I don't know what this is about, but I do like Stephen King. Stephen King doesn't always write horror. Sometimes he writes something like Stand By Me. So I'm interested to see what this is. I don't know what it is, and I've stayed away from the trailer, but Mike Flanagan is one of my favorite directors, so I'll check it out. He also did Oculus. And what else is coming out? Probably the second biggest film that'll come out this week is The Romance Materialists, which is about a young New York City matchmaker's lucrative business gets complicated as she finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex. This stars Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris Evans, directed by Celine Song, who did the Academy Award nominated Past Lives you can watch on Paramount Plus. I think this doesn't look like it's for me. Dakota Johnson, I think, is not terrible. I'm just never really stoked about her films. I watched the trailer for this, and I like all 3. I specifically liked Dakota Johnson in The Lost Daughter, which you can watch on Netflix. I don't recommend it to everybody, but she is very good in that. I know that she can act better than 50 Shades of Grey or Madam Web. This just doesn't look... It looks like a very standard romance. But Celine Song's Past Lives is not a standard romance. It's a very artful film. The trailer for this does not make it look artful besides cinematography. Hopefully I'm wrong and it's a little better than I say. If you go check this out, you let me know how this is so I can let everyone else know next week. Streaming, we got Deep Cover, which is about 3 improv actors who are asked to go undercover by police in London's criminal underworld, starring Bryce Dallas Howard, Orlando Bloom, Nick Muhammad, and Sean Bean. This is directed by Tom Kingsley and co-written by Colin Trevorrow, who worked on 1 or 2 of the Jurassic Worlds. He's a good artist, or director/writer. This looks like it could be hilarious, but I will admit I watched the trailer and I'm like, I don't know. But you haven't seen Orlando Bloom in a while, and I really, really dig Bryce Dallas Howard's choices in projects. So I will be checking this out when it drops on Amazon Prime. I think it is. Let me double check. Yes, Amazon Prime. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. What else is streaming? I'll tell you. Echo Valley. Kate is dealing with a personal tragedy while owning and training horses in Echo Valley, an isolated and picturesque place, when her daughter Claire arrives at her doorstep, frightened, trembling, and covered in someone else's
Blood.
This stars Julianne Moore, Sydney Sweeney, who everyone loves, and Domhnall Gleeson. It's also directed by Michael Pierce. I watched 20 seconds of the trailer, and I was like, maybe. I don't dislike Sydney Sweeney. Don't get me wrong, super hot, and actually, honestly, a decent actress, specifically because of her one movie. I got to look it up real quick because I have to give her props for it. She's okay in Euphoria, but she plays the most annoying character in season 2 that I don't want to. Oh, an Immaculate. Excellent film. Excellent horror film. Never mind. I'm a Sydney Sweeney fan. You can watch that on Hulu right now. Also, that other movie she made on Hulu was pretty good. It was a horror film. Damn, what was it called? Sorry, guys. I got to check these out. Because Sydney Sweeney's starting to turn me. Like, oh, yeah, you're pretty good. Anyone But You was okay. Reality. That movie was actually pretty good. And Nocturne. That's the other horror movie that I thought she was good. So, yeah, and she was in Sharp Objects. Okay. Sydney Sweeney's a good actress. So, even more of a reason for me to check out this movie. I guess I don't know. I don't know why I'm hating. I think I'm hating because Euphoria gave her more screen time than the bigger chick, whose storyline I was much more interested in. I fucking hated this character's storyline. But, it's not Sydney Sweeney's fault. So check out Echo Valley if you want to watch a kind of murder mystery, I guess. It'll be on Apple TV+. Now, moving on to the television show side of things. FUBAR, which stars, I almost called him Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, as a CIA operative on the verge of retirement, discovers a family secret and is forced to go back into the field for one last job. This time, Carrie-Anne Moss is joining, and it's returning to Netflix. I watched half of the first season when it first came out. I'm sorry, half of the first episode when the first season came out. To be honest, wasn't a big fan, but they do got a second season. Maybe it'll end up being better. Maybe this is another Tires situation where if I just plow through the first season, and maybe the second season will be better. Because historically speaking, at least what I believe is that second seasons are where everyone finds their footing when it comes to good television. It's possible that this is not an exception. But knowing that Carrie-Anne Moss, a.k.a. Trinity from The Matrixes, is joining makes me a little more intrigued. Also, Divorced Sisters, which is about 5 friends, Rashida, Geneva, Naomi, Tiffany, and Bridget, support each other through divorce, marriage, dating, healing, and friendship struggles while their loyalty and sisterhood bonds are tested. This is a spin-off off of his other show, Sisters, and it's on BET Plus Tuesdays. I like one of these actresses, so maybe it's pretty good. Might give me a reason to get my BET Plus prescription. I keep saying prescription. I just, Tyler Perry's hit or miss for me, man. And it seems to be every other thing that I really, really enjoy. Also streaming is Revival, which is a sci-fi show. I'm not going to watch it, but if you like sci-fi, the network sci-fi, if you like those shows, this one looks pretty dope, honestly. One miraculous day in rural Wisconsin, the deceased rise from their graves, not just zombies. It's dead people rising from their graves, yet they appear and act unchanged. And now it is up to the officer and single mother, Dana Cypress, to solve a murder case where everyone alive or undead is a suspect. It looks kind of interesting. It just looks a little like repetitive and formulaic. Like it looks like it's going to have 30 episodes per season where we're never going to really get to any answers. And finally, streaming on something that I will not watch, but if you are into religion, maybe you'll dig this. The Chosen returns to Prime, which is a drama about the life of Jesus Christ as he's introduced to his initial disciples with a discussion after each episode. So, if you like religious television, maybe this is up your alley. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends. Before we wrap up things, let's go back to the comments real quick. Novocaine says fair. All right, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. I also want to announce no new projects necessarily, but I am taking requests for reviews. So shout out to a fan that recommended me to go over revenge films as a topic. Hopefully they're watching tonight and they agree. If you liked my revenge film selection, or you decide to watch one of them that you had not seen before, but decided to give a shot because I suggested it, make sure you let me know. If there are other revenge films I have not mentioned that you think that I would like or that I should recommend to the others, make sure you let me know. And if there's any other shows or movies that you request me to review and let the audience know, feel free to let me know. Because a total stranger reached out to me to check out Global Guts. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. And they said, yeah, not Nickelodeon's Guts, but they made Global Guts. And honestly, that was 2 weeks ago. I probably lost him as a fan, but I will be checking it out because damn it, did I tell him that I was going to review that show. But I am willing to take requests for things to review. Events or functions that you guys want me to advertise, like Detroit Late Night Flash Mob, it's happening on June 21st. Or if you want me to make a commercial for your products, hit me up because I like making sketches every week and I don't want to only make advertisements for the show you're already watching. So already I got a request for 80s movies reviews. Down, totally down. Also, check out my Letterboxd. I have a Letterboxd account called PopCorn Poppin Productions, I think. I can't remember what it's called already. Stand by. I haven't made full-on lists yet. It's called Popcorn Poppin'. So if you have a Letterboxd account, if you love movies, get a Letterboxd because I have so many on my list that I want to watch. It's ridiculous. But it's basically a social media site for film lovers. And you can check out the MCU Infinity Saga ranked that I did for this show, which you can check out on my YouTube channel. Anyways, if you want to comment, like, and subscribe, please do. But if you have any suggestions for me, let me know. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and please, please share, and also share the sketch. It had Roxy in it. The beautiful, lovely Roxy. You know that sketch was hilarious. Share the sketch. It's on the YouTube. All right, guys. I hope you have a good night, and